My mother-in-law deliberately poisoned my daughter/her grandchild with a known allergen. My 3-year-old daughter has several severe food allergies. Peanuts and eggs are the worst. She also can't have dairy or bananas. Mother-in-law is super obsessed with my daughter. This is our only child and mother-in-law's only grandchild, so I try to be understanding. I don't say anything about it when mother-in-law buys $300 dresses that my daughter will wear only once. I've encouraged a relationship between them. I've let mother-in-law have her way on holidays. I've never actually left them alone, though. I can't explain exactly, but it just didn't feel right. Mother-in-law hasn't pushed for a long time, like I've read about here. She offered to babysit, but let it go when we declined. Mother-in-law has always doubted my daughter's allergies. She's insisted that her princess of a granddaughter could never have something wrong with her. However, she's never tested to see if it's true until today. Mother-in-law was overplaying dress-up with my daughter. I had a horrible headache, so I asked mother-in-law to watch my daughter so I could lay down for an hour. She agreed. 20 minutes later, I'm woken up to mother-in-law shrieking that there's something wrong with the baby. I go running to my daughter's room, and she's gasping for breath, and her lips are turning blue. I scream at mother-in-law to call 911 and get an EpiPen for my daughter. My daughter was able to take a deep breath, and I noticed she smelled like a banana. The paramedics show up. We live about a mile from a fire station. Start an IV and give my daughter meds so she can breathe. I told one of the paramedics that mother-in-law fed my daughter something. He found part of a cookie on the floor. He confronts mother-in-law, who confesses she gave my daughter a peanut butter banana cookie, but she didn't know it would hurt her.
Oh my gosh.
Not just one of the things that she's allergic to, but two. She said, oh, she can't be allergic to peanuts and bananas. She has no flaws whatsoever. Give her both. See what happens. It will be fine. I text my husband and ride to the hospital with my daughter. They admitted her for observation and my husband met us there. Mother-in-law called him wailing about how she was just trying to show us nothing is wrong with our daughter. Good job. We're just too paranoid and have such ideas about our daughter's health. We eat healthy and our daughter has received all the vaccines she can have. Oh, and we use sunblock. So odd, right?
Sunblock?
That bitch admitted to my husband that she's been making allergen-laced cookies for more than a year. She bakes a huge batch and freezes them. She puts one in her purse every time she sees daughter, just in case she gets a chance to slip it to her. I can't even wrap my head around this. My daughter is asking when mother-in-law is going to come see her. She wants to show grandma her pretty bracelet, hospital band with stickers on it. I am so devastated right now. I never suspected mother-in-law would do something like this. Edit, the hospital already reported it to the police. A detective is going to come tomorrow and take statements and talk about the next step. Before we get into the update,
This is the only face I got.
Insanity. Also, there are 5 updates, so
what?
buckle in, folks.
5 updates?
5 updates.
Is that how many hearings it took to get her
Because this
booked?
bitch is crazy. I don't care if a parent tells you not to give their child something. You don't give it. I don't care if they're not even allergic to it.
It's not your
I don't
kid.
even care.
It's
You
not
do
your
not
f***ing
give the
kid.
child
You
the food. Like, it doesn't matter. You have nothing to prove. Like, do you want to be right or do you want to have a grandchild? Because that's the bottom line. And I cannot imagine anyone doing this.
So,
Like, anyone.
Grandma
This is
wanted to be
insane.
right so badly that she knowingly risked unaliving her grandchild
100%.
just to be right. All right, let's dive into the first update. So, the detective just left. He got copies of everything mother-in-law sent my husband, plus 11 voicemails she left me last night. My phone has been off. Apparently, several of them were just her screaming that she's going to unalive herself because she can't live without her baby. The detective doesn't know what is going to happen because he's never seen this before. But for right now, they're going to take her into custody due to the threats of unaliving herself. The district attorney will have to look at the case next week. She also went on a huge shopping spree. My husband went home to get a few things for our daughter, and our front porch was crammed full of new toys. Well, that'll solve everything. My husband loaded them up, and after lunch, daughter is going to give them away to other kids in the hospital. Nice. My daughter is doing great. We're at an amazing children's hospital. They sent a counselor to work with her a bit, and we're going to continue with that while we navigate the next couple of weeks. She's having bouts of hysteria due to the steroids, but that's expected. She's getting doses of Benadryl for a lingering full-body itchy rash, so that calms things down quite a bit. My husband bought her brand new frozen pajamas, and she's getting all of her favorite foods on demand, so overall, she's pretty happy. She's still asking for mother-in-law. The counselor suggested telling my daughter, Grandma made you very sick on purpose, so she's on a timeout and can't see you. We don't hurt other people, right? So we've just been repeating that. My husband's family is pretty split. Everyone is kind of in shock, but he's too angry to care about anyone who doubts our reaction. There are a few people who are saying she needs help, and it's our duty to support her through this. Haha, nope. Our duty is to our daughter, full stop. That woman will never see us again. My daughter and I are going to stay with my parents in Ireland for a while. We're leaving at the end of the month. My husband is on board with all this. He's talking about us moving a few states away just to make sure mother-in-law can't get to daughter. He took next week off work just to be there for my daughter. This could have been so much worse. My daughter will make a full recovery. She won't remember this. We'll be okay. Okay. Quick check-in before the next update. Thoughts?
I think that grandma has no idea what she did, because she had a grandchild that loved her and she still wanted to be right about this, and to go through the effort of making cookies, freezing them, and just waiting for the opportunity to prove that she's right is just, it's unforgivable. Like, you can't come back from that. You don't get access to see your grandchild anymore because you tried to prove that you were right. There's no other reason for this.
It's attempted unaliving.
There will be charges filed. We sure as shit would.
And she thought that just putting a bunch of toys on their porch was going to fix this problem. Like, my child almost passed away because you are crazy. So no. But I think the way that they've handled it thus far has been, like, I think the husband stepping up and making his daughter and wife the priority is great. But
here's another update. In my last post, I explained how my mother-in-law intentionally fed my daughter a cookie laced with allergens. You should read that first if you haven't yet. I don't know how to link, so hopefully BitchBot does that for me. So mother-in-law is being charged with endangerment of a child. Ooh, it should be more serious than that, shouldn't it? Our lawyer has told us that she will probably not spend any time in jail. Now I'm getting pissed. In any case, we have a restraining order against her and warned my daughter's preschool. She will never lay eyes on my child again if I can help it. There will be no second chance for her to unalive my child. I don't really feel like justice will be served. We intend to pursue a civil case against mother-in-law for the hospital bill. My daughter and I spent an amazing month in Ireland with my family. My mom spoiled her so completely that my daughter has only asked for Granny, my mother, and has not mentioned Nana, mother-in-law, so that's been nice. My daughter has physically recovered 100%. We are working closely with her therapist to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible for her. She doesn't seem to be suffering any emotional trauma at this point. My husband is also in therapy to help him deal with the trauma of suddenly losing his mother. He's really having a rough time of it. He is rock steady on the resolve to cut her entirely out, though. Good for him. Any thoughts on quick update number 2 here?
no, I think it's also important to remember that just because somebody's fucked up on that level, and by somebody I mean a parent, because we've talked about this before, it's not easy to just,
they're still your parent.
They're still your parent. So like the time that it's going to take to work through those emotions and feelings of cutting off your parent, I don't think is an easy process. And I'm sure people in chat can give more context to that. But to be able to go from like having a parent and then basically just not having one at all, especially like your mom, like I think that would be very hard. But I'm glad that he understands the severity of the situation and is there for his wife and child.
Gotcha.
Because what she did is, it's like I said, it's unforgivable.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't ever let her be with that child again.
I am confused how this is only being charged as child endangerment when it was intentional. Let's dive into the next update. Y'all, going this long without seeing my daughter has apparently made my mother-in-law lose it. Oh, she hadn't already. What madness lies before us? So, recap, I'm the one whose mother-in-law intentionally gave my daughter allergen-laced cookies. My daughter spent a week in the hospital recovering, and we cut mother-in-law out cold. She was charged and got off with a slap on the wrist. Yesterday, I got a call from daughter's preschool. Mother-in-law tried to pick her up, told the staff there was a family emergency. Luckily, I got advice here to tell the preschool the situation, so they locked down and stalled until the police got there. Mother-in-law violated her restraining order, so there may be some legal action, but I haven't been told anything yet. My daughter is fine. She has no idea anything happened. They locked down her classroom and played a series of very noisy games until it was over. We're moving several states away in June and not telling mother-in-law. She'll figure out we're gone after it's too late to bother us anymore.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to talk about this because it's attempted kidnapping. That's not a violation of a restraining order. It's attempted kidnapping.
I mean, after she went through the trouble of waiting a year to give someone an allergen-laced cookie, I guess
you got to think about the long game. Because she plays the long game.
I don't know what she's doing, but this is not sanity.
First, attempted unaliving was child endangerment. Now, attempted kidnapping is just a violation of a restraining order.
the entitlement that she feels to her granddaughter
is currently being validated by the justice system because
Well,
everything's being downgraded, and that pisses me off.
where does that come from? Like, how did that start? And she said she was obsessed with her, but this is like a whole nother level of like entitlement that she feels to this child.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how did it start? Where did it come from? Did she have any other children? Like, did she always want a daughter? And now like this,
She's
I don't
the
know.
only grandbaby. We know that.
Yes.
So I wonder if part of that is vicarious as well, right? Like she's trying to give her the fairy tale experience that she always wanted.
Right.
I don't know what that has to do with allergens.
I mean, if she just was adamant that nothing was wrong with her. It's like she's almost like adamant that mother-in-law is the best thing for her because mother-in-law knows best. That's the vibe that I'm getting.
All right, Mother Gothel, sit the down. Next update. So, my crazy allergen-giving monster of a mother-in-law somehow found out the day we were moving and showed up at our house. She parked behind the moving truck and said she wouldn't budge until we agreed to talk things out. Police were called and she was arrested for violating a restraining order, which I'm told could result in as much as 1 year in jail. I believe she has to go to court. Her car was towed, the movers finished up, and now we're all safely in a new state. All 4 of us. Because we recently found out we'll be adding a new little one to our family in January. Mother-in-law does not know. The new house is under an LLC, as suggested by our attorney. The new school is on hard lockdown. We're really fortunate that we can manage a nice private school with excellent security in our new state. I've had to go back to work part-time to cover the cost, but the peace of mind is worth it. 100%. My daughter and husband are going to continue therapy. My husband is going to go to grief counseling because he feels as though his mother suddenly passed away. He's very adamant that mother-in-law never sees our children, but losing his mother has been very difficult for him. Time out for just a second to green flag this guy, because being able to separate that and be like, yes, I'm grieving the loss of my mother being involved in my life, but also I understand she's a monster and can't be around our kids. He knows it's the right thing to do, but still is dealing with the grief. It's a very mature way to handle that, it feels like. If, heaven forbid, he were to waver on that, my children and I would be on the next flight to Ireland. Oh, and my daughter has started this program at a hospital nearby where she is exposed to her allergens in tiny but incremental doses. So far, it's going well with only a mild reaction one time. Thank you for all your support and advice during this ordeal. Do you think that is an attempt to build up tolerance in case mother-in-law ever shows up with cookies again?
No, I didn't even think about that. I don't know.
What would be the point otherwise?
Well, I mean, we did that with Ava because her allergies were so bad, and so she went, every week and got she did that to build up a tolerance.
But
I mean, I think that's a normal thing for allergies that are pretty severe.
Gotcha. I just wondered if that was fueled by their fear that somehow she's going to show back up. It's the final update. So I'm changing Death Cookies to Cookie Monster because that's a way better name someone suggested. Yeah, Cookie Monster is really good. Or Cookie Momster. That could work too. Anyway, my husband works for a large company, offices in multiple states, etc. We told the new location not to release any info about my husband. Don't confirm that he works there. Nothing. Death Cookies called the old location and played the forgetful old lady and managed to get the number of the new location that my husband transferred to. Fail. She then proceeded to call the new location. The receptionist didn't get the memo apparently and gave her my husband's extension. As soon as he picked up, he was treated to ear-piercing wailing, not talking or crying, just full-on banshee wails. He hung up, she called again, and left 12 full voicemails of this before his mailbox was full. Then she switched back to calling the receptionist and wailing at her. My husband was called into a meeting with HR and had to provide copies of the restraining order. Legal is sending her a letter. The police in our town have been notified. His IT department had to set up a whole new extension for my husband. I believe they blocked her number as well, but it won't stop her. But now Death Cookies knows where we moved. At least we already had security cameras, I guess. Fantastic. I feel like she's already ruined the new town. How big of a fail if, you've communicated the situation to the company you work for and you're like, you are not allowed to give out any information about us, period. And they gave out that information and put you at risk. That feels like a big fail.
The person who gave out that information, well, I can't even.
They're probably
understand.
in a lot. They could be in a lot of legal trouble, right?
100%. I think. I mean, I can't imagine someone calling my old job and asking for that and just being like, yeah, here you go.
Well, okay. So I feel like
even without the context,
the company at this point, knowing what happened, should offer to relocate them because now they have to move again to another location with the same company, hopefully, but all the costs that they've incurred with, gosh dang.
Yep.
They've got the school, they've got the allergy program at the hospital. Like, they're probably going to be on the hook to essentially make this a seamless transition for them. I feel like they should.
Right. After
They
they
stepped
went
in it
through
hard.
all the, like, setting up the LLC to buy the house, and so it's not in their name, they can't trace it, like, and now she knows exactly where they are.
Yeah. No, it wasn't just the receptionist, because she called
His old
She called it
office.
his old office, and they gave the new number. Maybe that was the receptionist there too. But still, I mean, whoever's controlling that information should have that shit on lockdown, especially if it's a bigger company, right? And
Yeah.
maybe it's harder to keep track of.
And
I
that
don't know,
was
but that's a fail.
Yeah, that was the last update.
Fail.
That's all we have for now.
Fail. I feel like the system has failed them. I feel like his place of work definitely failed them. But people aren't used to this. You know what I mean? People aren't like, I don't know.
I think it goes back to the original question, and it's, why do people want to prove that allergies aren't real? Like, and I go back to this all the time. And but if a parent says no, then it's no. Like, it doesn't matter if they're allergic or not. Just don't feed the food that the parents asked not to be fed. There's a reason, and it's their child. And like,
I think
it's crazy to try to prove that they don't have an allergy. That I can't understand it.
I think part of it has to do with, and we've read a lot of stories to this effect. There are a lot of grandparents out there who feel like they have ownership in a grandchild because of lineage, right? It's the blood of my blood, right? So they feel like they have a say. They feel like it's theirs. They can do whatever the they want with it, which is obviously extremely up. But who thought that 5 updates wouldn't be enough, Trisha? Yeah, for real. We'll be keeping our eyes peeled for new ones for this.
Right.
My gosh.